Today's Tanya for the 16th of Kislev is in Kuntis Achren, Daf Kuf Samach Aleph, Amid Aleph. The number at the bottom of the page is 626. The Rebbe Zal Gesundsein points out that the subject discussed in this Kuntis is the greatness of the mitzvah of tzedakah, and it should logically appear in Igeres HaKadosh. Why it appears here needs an explanation. The Rebbe also points out that the subjects discussed here are explained at greater length in Likutei Torah, in Parshas Re'eh, and in a Maimer from the Frierdiker Rebbe from the year Taf Reish Pei Ches. The Maimer begins, Amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. In this Kuntus, the Rebbe, Alter Rebbe, explains how the mitzvah of tzedakah helps bring the bittul that every neshama has, the true bittul that exists in the chachma of the neshama, in the attribute of chachma. Chachma is the essence of bittul, because chachma is the beginning, the birth, before there's any logic, before there's any comprehension. And that is the level of bittul, and that it has to be brought, this bittul, has to be brought into expression in the pnimius halev, has to be brought down to the heart. And how does that come about? So the Alter Rebbe explains how tzedakah helps bring the bittul into the heart. Tzedakah kanachal eson. It says that the pasuk in Amos Seif Siman Hey says that tzedakah flows like a mighty river. Pirush, Alter Rebbe explains, according to Chassidus, the inner meaning of nachal eson, kemei nachal eson, hu hamshocha hanimsheches mebechinas eson, just like nachal eson describes the flow, the hamshocha, of the level of eson, shehi bechinas nekuda beheicholo v'trein rein, etc. The nachal, the flow, refers to bina, and eson refers to chachma, and chachma is within bina like a point in a chamber. Chachma is a nekuda, just a dot, a point, and when it is in bina, it flows in bina, then it is the point in the chamber. V'tein reyin, and this combination of the nekuda of chachma in the expansion of bina is called the two friends who cannot be separated, because chachma and bina are always together. The eson, and the letters of the word eson, Aleph, Yud, Taf, Nun, they all indicate mishamshes le'osid. They all, grammatically, refer to the future. They're all future tense. As, for example, echel, yechel, techel, and nechel. So each of the letters, Aleph, Yud, Taf, Nun, all of them refer to the future. Pirush, and this means Ano Osid Leizgali, that this revelation of the Nekuda of Chachma in Bina will be revealed in the future. Kameshikosu Hine Yaskil Avdi, as it says concerning Mashiach. Yaskil Avdi, also in the future. So in the time of Mashiach, there will be this revelation of Kanachal Eson. Hainu, and what this means, that at that time God and His oneness will be revealed into the inner nekuda of the heart. By bringing down this level of nachal eson, which is the revelation of chachma ilah, the bittul from above, that it should illuminate into the heart, so that the person or the heart should become completely bottled to God's oneness, from the depths of the heart, and this can happen only after the removal of the orla, after the bris, after circumcising the heart from its pleasure in physical things. And as we said earlier in the previous kuntres, that the Pnimius HaTorah is the Tainug of Torah. The Pnimius HaLev is the Tainug of the Lev. When we take away the pleasure for Gashmius, then the heart is receptive to the bittul of Chachma. Now also, in this Golus, in the Golus of this people, Chel means army, nation. Yesh Gamken Eitza Yeutza. Even today, before Mashiach comes, in this Golus, there's also an Eitza. There's a way to bring a little bit of this light from Eson into the heart. Somewhat of what's going to be in the future. How is this done? By arousing in the heart, by arousing great pity from above for the divine spark of the neshama that is the person. In other words, since we don't have this kind of ava that it borders on bittul, that can bring this bittul to the heart, where the heart in its ava can feel the bittul. So the solution, wherever ava is lacking, the solution is rachamim. You go to compassion. If you arouse great compassion for the neshama, then that could bring the bittul into the heart. What is the great rachmanus? What is the great pity? Ki be'emes kol zman she'ein ha'adam zeich she'yizgal le'ei Hashem bechinas Esav b'nekudas pnimius levavei. Because the truth is that as long as the person is not zeichet, that there should be a revelation of this godliness, of this bittul of chachma into the heart, as long as he doesn't feel the bittul in his heart. To become completely one with God. Bottle to God's oneness from the depth of his heart to the point of kleis hanefesh, of expiring. Azai be'emes yesh rachmanus g'daylo al hanitzut shebenafshe. So as long as the person doesn't have this kind of bittul, it is in fact a great rachmanus on his neshama. Ki hanitzut nimshach mebechinas chachma ilo mamosh, because the godliness of his neshama comes from chachma ilo, from this level of bittul. And when it can't reveal itself, it can't shine and bring its property, its character, which is bittul, into the heart, into the pnimius halev, shesham mokim gili ha'orazu, because that is the place that this needs to be revealed in. Harei ze bebechinas golus mamash. So as long as the neshama can't reveal itself and its characteristic of bittul into the heart where it needs to be revealed, then the neshama is in golus. It is repressed. And by arousing this great compassion, this endless pity, infinite pity that God has, so this pity can take the neshama out of its golus and its imprisonment. And it can reveal itself, it can shine into the pnimius of the heart. So some of this ava can be released, and the heart can feel it in the pnimius halev, as is known that Yaakov redeems Avraham. Avraham is chesed, or Ahava, and where Ahava is imprisoned and in Golus, Yaakov comes along and redeems it. And Yaakov is compassion. So where Ahava is hard to get to, you first start with compassion, and the compassion releases the Ahava. And it is known that any arousal from above depends on an arousal from below. Rachmanim v'gemei chasadim, in order to arouse the great compassion, infinite compassion of God. We have to arouse the compassion of the hearts of those who are described as compassionate and charitable, in other words, in the heart of the Jew, lahashpiya lemata, that he should give to those who are beneath him, hashpa gashmi zav v'chesed, to give physical things, gold and silver. And thereby, the giving of tzedakah is literally the revealing of Nachal Eson, because that's how it is revealed. Now, what kind of tzedakah can bring about this revelation, this bittul in the heart? So mudazes, it is known mashikosu k'ei be'ad ei v'chol asher li'ish yitem ba'ad nafshi, because a person, when he defends himself, he sacrifices one limb for another, puts his hand up to protect his head, and so on. So ei ba'ad ei, he gives one limb for another, and everything a person has, he gives for his soul. So there are two levels of tzedakah. One is the measured tzedakah, one limb for another, and then there is the endless tzedakah, and that is the tzedakah that a person gives for his soul. He will give everything without reckoning. He will give everything for his soul. And in the pasuk, it's referring to his soul, meaning his physical life, his life. And here in Tanya, he's referring to his neshama, which is nafshei ha'likis. For the godly soul, he would give tzedakah in order to free the godly soul, to bring to it this divine light, which is the Nachal Eson, the bittul of the Chachma of the Neshama, felt in the pnimius of the heart. In the Hayem Yem, for the 16th of Kislev, the Rebbe writes that it is a fundamental principle in the teachings of Hasidus that the mind, which by nature rules over the heart, the mind must subordinate the heart to God, to serving God, by using Chochmah, Bina, and Das, the three faculties of the mind, in the contemplation of the greatness of the Creator of the universe. And through this understanding, the Chochmah, Bina, Das of God's greatness, it affects the heart, that the heart should serve God, because the heart controls the mind, because the mind controls the heart.
Shalom Aleichem. How are you? You know, I do a lot of talking, a lot of Zooming, many classes, many subjects, but that's all formal stuff. Hopefully good stuff, but formal. We also have a Wednesday night meeting that's more informal and kind of Hamish. If you want to join us for that kind of an event, interactive, time for questions and so on. If you want to join us for this side of conversation, click on the link below and join us every Wednesday night at 9 o'clock. Well, maybe not every Wednesday night, but we try to make it every Wednesday night at 9 o'clock, a more informal chat, which can be more enjoyable at times than the formal stuff. So check it out. Click on the link and join us. Try it. You'll like it.